I'm fairly certain that just as of moments ago, U.S. President Donald Trump has just signed the United States into yet another conflict for a land grab that doesn't even benefit the United States. All of this with his buddies and even his son-in-law having an exclusive oil drilling contract in that region. And that's why in this video, we are going to be talking about this new proclamation that Donald Trump has just signed, the latest events in Gaza, the elections in Israel, and a lot more, including how this new Robert Mueller Russiagate investigation actually did prove some collusion, but it's not what you think. We'll get to that at the end of this video. By the way, a video supported by you, the viewer, with your donations, your support, your contributions, either through online cryptocurrency or physical mail, which again is all up on wearechange.org. So make sure you visit that website, wearechange.org/donate. And at the same time, also sign up on our email list because, we're living in interesting times where videos like this and other independent critical analysis of news is actually censored or even just taken down. So again, sign up on this email list. It's more important than ever. Again, all you have to do is go to wearechange.org and sign up here, or click the link below in the description. Now, holy cow, just moments ago, U.S. President Donald Trump appeared with Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, and officially signed a proclamation recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights region. Now, of course, this is contested land and territory that was originally Syrian territory, officially previously Syrian land up until 1967 during the Six-Day War, where Israel occupied the region, and since then the area has been contested. Now, there's many reasons why this is a huge deal, especially with Syrian government officials coming out and saying that they will protect this territory with all of its resources and even pledged to fight to the death for it, with of course its allies China and Russia standing behind them in their proclamation, with even Russian officials offering an official statement and even a symbolic gesture of deploying military police along that region, saying representatively that they will not stand for this. Now, of course, people should understand that these are very strong statements, but also just statements and very symbolic gestures, and as of right now, with no direct military action, these are still just very symbolic gestures that will take an international community and other countries recognizing the same, or again, just military action, which I think is more likely here, especially because of the history and the very far aggressive actions of not only Donald Trump, but Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who is trying to prove himself during, of course, a very contested election that he is facing very soon. And I definitely believe this election is having a bigger role in this entire spectacle than other people may think, for many reasons. But before we get into that, we have to say that this is extremely foolish. This for America, especially, because this does not make America great again. This does not put the United States in a good geopolitical situation, and it's only going to breed more conflict, resentment, and destruction of diplomacy for the United States, when already there has been so much bloodshed and so much horror that has happened in Syria, mainly also because of U.S. foreign policy objectives that have sent arms, weapons, and even bigger deals and bigger intelligence assets to pretty much foment the violent civil war that is already just now ending in that country. An extremely gruesome conflict that, of course, bred radical Islamist terrorists, al-Nusra, ISIS in that region, which many people geopolitically said would not be possible if it wasn't for that direct intervention of the United States, Turkey, Israel, and Saudi Arabia that were literally throwing in as much arms into that region as they could to get rid of their geopolitical foe, Bashar al-Assad. This, of course, created a horrible situation, a horrible civil war, where even images came out of Israeli soldiers taking care of these radical Islamist elements with medical care in specifically that Golan Heights region. Now, I bring this up for a very specific reason, because 3 years ago, literally on January 21st, 2016, I made a video that's titled "The Real Reason Oil is So Cheap and How Rockefeller and Rothschilds Are Involved," where I literally talked about how the bigger reason why we're seeing such financing of radical elements by, again, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the United States there is because Syria is also a very rich territory filled with a lot of natural resources. The Golan Heights region specifically is also a territory that has oil. And even as far back as 3 years ago, I said one of the reasons why this conflict is happening is because of the Golan Heights region and, of course, the U.S. and Israel's wanting of annexation of that specific area to, of course, not only have natural resources, but, of course, more of a strategic geographical advantage in that specific reason. We told you this was the reason. Specifically bringing up Janine Energy, which is a company based out of New Jersey, whose strategic advisory board is literally Dick Cheney, Rupert Murdoch, former CIA head James Woolsey, Larry Summers, Lord Jacob Rothschild, and even has close ties to Jared Kushner's Donald Trump's son-in-law, who, of course, during this proclamation literally is itching himself to be in the spotlight with, of course, his old buddy Netanyahu, which, by the way, Jared Kushner let Netanyahu sleep in his bed when Netanyahu was visiting him and his family when he was just a teenager. Of course, there's a lot of nepotism. There's a lot of collusion here, and it's very, very clear, not only with this deal, which, again, does not serve the interest of the American people, literally brings us closer to war with other world powers, and will literally have Donald Trump's close associates and even some of the biggest globalists out there benefiting from this. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to unfold here. That's a big revelation, because convince me if I'm wrong, and again, if you think I got anything wrong, let me know in the comment section. I always vet through those, and I look through those, and I always try to be wrong, but this is messed up on a lot of levels, and it's even more terrifying when I don't see anyone barely even talking about this. Now, again, these are still just symbolic gestures, but Turkey's president is, of course, stepping forward and announcing that he will, of course, contest this matter in the United Nations, saying, of course, that Trump's statements does not legitimize the occupation of the Golan Heights region. And to me, this segues into the next story of the actual investigation that took place about Donald Trump with, of course, Russian collusion, which, of course, was really just about all political power. We called it out from the very beginning. We were attacked as Russian agents for not believing in it. But this Russian investigation, by the way, did uncover how Donald Trump, specifically his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, did collude, but colluded with, of course, Israel. And the bigger takeaway that was found out through Robert Mueller's investigation was that Jared Kushner did call Michael Flynn, then U.S. President Donald Trump's national security advisor, and urge him to contact Russia to vote in favor of a resolution that would benefit Israel before Donald Trump was actually inaugurated. So again, before Donald Trump was inaugurated, he was already president, Jared Kushner called Flynn, told him to contact the Russians and have the Russians be convinced somehow to vote in favor of Israel during a big UN resolution. Because of this is why Michael Flynn went down. This is why Michael Flynn was charged. This is why Michael Flynn is facing jail time right now. And the media, with Russia hysteria, with total insanity, trying to find collusion when there wasn't any, totally ignored the absolute collusion that actually did happen and was there and was documented. So this is, of course, backing the statement that I made in the beginning of this video that, yes, there actually was some collusion during the Mueller investigation, but no one really wants to talk about it. While, of course, this move continues on the pathway of worsening relations and diplomacy with Russia and brings us closer to yet another potential conflict. And again, we've been seeing this time and time again with Iran, with Venezuela, and of course, other places all around the world. Now, politically, we have to understand that this really is a major victory for Netanyahu, who said himself that ties with the United States are stronger than ever under, of course, U.S. President Donald Trump. But yet again, politically, Netanyahu is the clear victor here. He is what people have described as under siege for the scandals and corruption charges and even indictments against him right now during, of course, what is a tough election and may actually oust him as Prime Minister of Israel. This is why we've seen this deal happen as of this moment, of course, very close to the election. We also seen Netanyahu publicly talk about even legalizing marijuana in a desperate bid to, of course, gain as much support before this crucial election that will ultimately determine the future of Israel and is an extremely important one. This is why we're also seeing a very heavy-handed approach after a rocket attack from Gaza injured 7 Israelis, and luckily there were no casualties. But in what is clear a very heavy-handed response, Israel is of course answering back with heavy bombardment of that torn and destroyed region already that is Gaza, the same territory where UN Rights Council accuses Israel of crimes of, even going as far as accusing Israel of intentionally shooting children and journalists, claiming that 154 out of the 183 people who were shot were, quote, unarmed, officially voting to endorse that report where they said Israel's actions amounted to war crimes against civilians in Gaza. Now, whatever your take is on the issue, it's definitely a one where people feel emboldened on either side and find it very difficult to be objective through their not only understanding but of course also reporting on, which we tried very carefully here to do. If you think we did that, let me know and share this video with your friends and family members, because simply just even talking about this subject automatically blacklists us and again puts a target on the back of us for even discussing these issues, which I think are important for us to understand, because yes, this already convoluted, emotionally, bloody, chaotic, insane situation is only going to get more complicated, especially with the actions of sitting U.S. President Donald Trump right now. Again, that's what I think. That's what I found. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your support, your donations, and that's why I love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. 4 videos now a day on the main channel and the backup. Stay tuned for more.